Hello friends, it's Scott from Platte River Keto. If you're new to my channel, welcome. On my channel, you get to come along for the ride on my keto journey. I'm going to go ahead and check in with you guys today on my keto progress. Haven't been able to do that for the last couple of weekends. Been very busy on the weekends, and Saturday is usually my check-in day. That's usually when, if I am checking my relationship with Earth's gravity, which I have started again. I like to do that on Saturdays so that I'm consistent with where I'm at. But the last couple of Saturdays I've been pretty busy. So I'm going to check in with you briefly on my keto progress, but then there's some things that I want to share with you today. So first, keto progress. As you guys know, I had really put some poundage back on from the first of the year through the end of April. Not a giant shock during tax season, but still working on how to work my way through tax season without gaining a bunch of weight. But I was 354.4 on the 3rd of May, and I checked in my relationship with Earth's gravity last Saturday. Just didn't have a chance to post a video. I was at 346.2, so down 8.2 pounds in a couple of weeks. That's exciting. Part of me wishes it were more. I wish that I could somehow use a magic wand and get rid of all the weight that I put on during tax season in a week, but that, of course, is not realistic. So overall, I am pleased with that progress, and hopefully I'll continue to see that progress as we move forward. As far as my eating, things have been going really well. As you guys know, my focus has been on whole food keto, eating 2 meals a day, and making sure that I don't snack, and I've done a great job with that. Haven't made any keto treats, haven't been eating any keto treats. Just been real pleased with just focusing on eating meat and low-carb vegetables and throwing in the occasional keto chow. That's been working really, really well for me. So I've been really pleased with that. As far as my exercise goes, I've been doing great. I've been doing my DDPY workouts every day. In fact, here you go. This is Unstoppable. This is a t-shirt that I just got from my DDPY program, which is a shirt that I got for earning 100,000 points, and you earn points by doing workouts, being consistent with things, that sort of deal. So I earned a free t-shirt. Very excited about that, but that program has been going really well. And in addition to that, I've been getting my walks in with my dogs every day. For those of you who are mishearing from me, I do try to post a short video every single day when I walk with my dogs. Usually nothing earth-shattering, basically a hello, and you get to see my dogs for a second, and if I happen to have a thought for the day and I can try to share it with you in less than 60 seconds, I do that. But that is a way you can keep in touch with me if you so choose. I share short videos, like I said, or I try to every day. But that's an update on my progress. Things are going well. I'm going to continue with my focus on not having keto treats and eating my 2 meals a day and continuing with my exercise. The next step as far as that goes, I think, is going to be to probably kind of ramp up a couple things that I'm doing with my exercise, and maybe even try to tighten up my eating just a little bit more. But overall, I'm really happy with my progress, and yeah, things are going well. So, as I mentioned to you guys a week or two ago, I've really discovered what I want the focus of my channel to be, and the voice that I want to be, I guess, in this keto sphere. And, I've been trying to think of a good term, a way to describe it, and I landed on Keto for Carboholics. And I don't know if that's a perfect description of what it is, and if anybody has a better suggestion, please feel free to throw it into the comments. I'd be happy to give you credit for a better idea than the one that I had. But what I mean by Keto for Carboholics is, if you guys go back a couple of weeks, you can actually see I share a whole video for you on why most keto products don't work for me, and it's because I have to be an abstainer. And I have to be an abstainer not just of carbs and sugary things, but even of keto treats, because those really mimic the sugary things and the things that I used to really overindulge in. And as I mentioned, again, I don't want to get all the way into the weeds on this because I shared a whole video about it. But an open box is an empty box for me, and I just I cannot moderate even keto treats, and so I just need to stay away from them. And that's really what I want the focus of my channel to be on. And in relation to that kind of obsessive eating behavior is how to overcome the emotional component of eating that is there for me, and I think is there for a lot of us who eat as a way to cope, emotionally eat. And I think that's part of the reason I can't shut it off, is because I'm not eating because I'm actually hungry. I'm eating for other reasons, often emotional reasons. I want to focus on learning how to celebrate without eating even keto treats, and also deal with difficult times, without eating keto treats, or certainly not without indulging in the carbs and the sugars and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's going to be the focus of my channel moving forward. And like I said, keto for carboholics is what I've kind of landed on. That's what I want to focus on. That's the journey that I'm on, and I hope that's helpful for some of you. And even if you're not a carboholic, maybe you can find some interesting things from what I share with you. So yeah, here we go. But a couple thoughts that I wanted to share with you today. The first one is some demons that I have kind of popped up last Saturday, but really they'd kind of been simmering for a day or two before that. And it was an interesting experience for me, and I wanted to share it with you because part of my journey is learning kind of why I do what I do. And as I take the unconscious part of what it seems that I do and bring it into my conscious mind, it's really helpful for me. So hopefully a little bit of this will be helpful to you. But then I have one other thing that I wanted to share with you also. So dealing with my demons. So those of you who've been following along on my journey for a while, these might sound pretty familiar to you, but there were a couple of things that, and I hate using this word, but for lack of a better word, kind of triggered me toward the end of last week. And I had a little slip up on last Saturday evening, and I ate late at night and binged on some things that just weren't even very good. But it was really weird because as I had started this little binge, like, I remember thinking to myself, why am I doing this? I'd had a really fun weekend visiting my family. I got to visit and see all of my siblings except for my youngest brother. There were 6 of us kids in my family. I'm the oldest of 6, and 5 of the 6 of us were together. My one brother who lives in Utah wasn't there, but the rest of us had gotten together in Omaha. And so we had a great weekend. And so I was sitting there thinking, like, I didn't have any difficult time with my family. I really enjoyed my time with my family. I know family time can be stressful at times, but mine really wasn't. I really had a fantastic time. And so I was trying to figure out what happened, what was going on. And it turned out that my wife kind of said that she realized it too, and she almost said something to me because she had a feeling that I was going to binge and eat after she fell asleep, which is something I used to do a lot. And I saw that behavior in myself, and I almost was able to stop myself, and I didn't. I did binge and eat some junk I shouldn't have. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad, but it was interesting. And what I want to share with you is the demons that kind of popped up and what happened. And the more aware I can be of things like that, I think the more likely I'll be able to be to nip that in the bud and process my feelings out loud and stop myself so that I don't actually have that binge. But so here's what happened. My wife and I order every year from somebody associated with the North Platte Public Schools, which is where my wife teaches. We order autism awareness shirts, and it's been a fun tradition. Both of my kids are on the autism spectrum. They both do really well, but they have some kind of unique challenges. And so one of the things that we do is we order the yearly autism shirt. And the last couple of years, last year for sure, I actually ordered a size XL. I've gone from a 4X, 5XL t-shirt down to an XL t-shirt. My wife asked me what size I was this year, and although I had put a little bit of weight back on, as I had mentioned to you guys earlier, I was an XL again, and so I was excited about that. And the lady who ordered the shirts couldn't read my wife's handwriting and accidentally ordered a 2XL for me. And I was a little bit disappointed in that, but I said, whatever, I will wear the shirt. Well, the 2XL fit a lot better than I wanted it to. I do fit into XL shirts. The shirt I'm wearing right now is an XL shirt. But the fact that a 2XL shirt fit a lot nicer than I wanted it to was the first thing that kind of started to set me off a little bit. And it was, like I said, those demons, those negative voices inside my head were kind of starting to chirp at me. The second thing that happened was over last weekend, one of the things, the whole reason we actually had gone to Omaha is we were visiting one of the temples for our church. There's a temple for our church in Omaha. And as part of that process of worshiping in the temple, we have special clothing that we wear associated with worshiping in our temple. Similar to robes that you'd see from a Muslim or like a yarmulke that you'd see like a Jewish person wear. We have certain clothing that we wear. And anyway, we don't wear it really anywhere outside of the temple. We wear it in the temple. And so I have this clothing, and obviously the clothing is in a certain size, and I was concerned that it wasn't going to fit. And I did try it on, and it barely fit. It was one of those situations, and those of you who've dealt with a weight loss journey, you definitely know that situation where you're kind of sucking it in, and then trying to button up the pants, and they barely fit. And so I had a lot of anxiety about going, and because even though I tried it on the day before we went, when something barely fits, it doesn't take much for something to not fit. And so I was just nervous and I was anxious the whole time leading up to when we went, because I was like, man, is this not going to work? And if it doesn't work, I'm not going to be able to go in and do the things that I want to do. And long story short, I just had a lot of anxiety about that. And that brought back for me a lot of memories of a lot of anxiety. And for those of you who followed along on my journey, you definitely heard me talk about that before. I've had a lot of anxiety as it relates to vacations, whether it be getting on an airplane and needing a seatbelt extender, not being able to fit into a booth at a restaurant, that kind of thing. And all that anxiety kind of came flooding back as it related to this clothing that I needed to wear. Now the good news is that I was able to get the pants buttoned up and the clothing fit, and I was able to have a great time worshiping in our temple, and again had a great weekend spending time with my siblings. But that was kind of thing number two, that demon that kind of got going inside of my head. And the third thing was when I was hanging out with my siblings. A couple people, one of my brothers, and then also my wife took a couple of fun pictures of my siblings and I, the five of us, just kind of sitting around a table chatting. And just the angle of the photo was not super flattering to me. And that was kind of the third thing that was just kind of set me off. And like I said, so you guys know what happened. I already told you the punchline of the story was that I binged some food that I shouldn't have. And it was interesting to me because I feel like over the last 3 years that I've been on this journey, I've definitely made some progress. And like I said, this time I almost got there and almost figured it out, but I couldn't quite figure out what the deal was. And because it was still unconscious for me, I, for whatever reason, wasn't able to override that desire that I had to emotionally eat some food that I shouldn't be eating. I didn't even really like what I had, and it was just, the whole thing was kind of weird, but kind of fell into some bad habits that I've definitely had in the past. So anyway, that was an interesting thing, just something that I wanted to share with you, and to encourage those of you who deal with issues similar to mine to try to think through that, however that works for you, whether you need to write those feelings down or share those feelings on a video like I do. I find that that's really helpful for me, but it's one of those things that I'm definitely a work in progress, and I'm still working my way through that inner critic or those demons that I deal with that cause me to sometimes get off track. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is I was listening to a podcast actually earlier today, and Jordan Peterson, you guys probably know who he is. He's a pretty popular psychiatrist, was sharing something, and I'm going to try to get it right here. He was sharing about alcoholism, and I think that there's a lot of similarity between the addictive behavior that's involved with alcoholism and carb addiction or food addiction. And he was sharing as it related to alcoholism. He said when a person gives up alcohol, they have a giant hole in their lives. And that hole is related to the old activities that they used to do that were related to drinking. Most of their friends would be drinkers. And so when a person decides to give up alcohol, they give up a big part of what used to make them who they were. And I thought of that as it related to food, because I think that those of us, especially those of us who were really addicted to carbs, addicted to food, when you give that up, you have to fill that hole in your life with something. Because for me, and I will speak obviously from my own personal experience, which is the only experience I can speak from, celebrations were all about food. Difficult times were always about food. And so as I've gotten healthy, I've had to find other ways to celebrate, other ways to deal with disappointment. And, I can't really say that there's like a friend that I've lost, but that's one of the things that Jordan Peterson talked about, that you may have to distance yourself from the friends you used to have. Obviously in this case, he was dealing with alcohol and alcoholism. But you're drinking buddies, but like there's a lot of us who may have had things and celebratory things and that kind of thing, that we used to go, have Mexican food on Friday with the girls, or, go out with the boys for, pizza or whatever. That activity changes when we decide to change our lifestyle from a health perspective and from a food perspective. And especially for those of us, like I said, those of you, hopefully there's some of you out there that are just like me, that really focused on the food, whether it was, food related to holidays, again, celebrations, difficult times. We have to fill that with something else. And that's one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and trying to help myself. As you guys know, I particularly struggle with that when it comes to difficult times, what stress when I'm dealing with tax season. I'm still working on that, trying to find better outlets for that stress. Gosh, I'm trying to think now where I heard this. I like to give credit to other people because this was not my idea, but somebody was sharing. I think I remember. It was Miriam Bear, and I don't know if it was her or Nisha Berry, and there was one other lady, and I apologize, but they were sharing, talking about things that you use to cope, and I think they were talking about it as it related to mothers. It was actually a Mother's Day podcast or a video that they shared, and they were talking about dealing with stress, that kind of thing, in a constructive way. Like I said, as it relates to mothers, but I think as it relates to everybody, we have to put those processes in place when we're not feeling stressed in order to help us, with the stress. And what I mean by that is, I think the one lady talked about how she likes to she has an evening routine where she can read a book and take a bath and do some meditating or whatever, and then go to bed. And that's one of the ways that she's able to kind of unwind from her stress. And doing that all the time is really helpful for her, so that when she has a particularly stressful time, she can kind of do that routine, and it can help her in a constructive way to deal with her stress. And I was thinking about that for myself because I've really been trying to focus on ways that can relieve my stress that aren't eating and aren't, treats, whether they be of the keto variety or not. And I've really found a few things that work really good for me. And one of those is, in addition to doing a regular DDPY workout in the morning, I've started doing a DDPY workout in the evening. That's not really a workout. I've been doing a stretch routine. It just allows me to relax, and it kind of subconsciously signals the end of my day to me. And that's been amazing for me. And I'm excited in a way. I'm not excited for tax season to come anytime soon, but I'm cautiously optimistic about using that as a way to help to lessen my stress when I'm dealing with a stressful time. But we have to implement those things and have them available to us, and have a feeling, I guess, inside of us that is helpful, in order for it to actually help us when we're stressed out. For example, let's just say that you consider walking to be something that's really difficult. And even though people have mentioned that as a way to relieve stress, it's not a stress relief to you. Or you haven't been doing it on a regular basis. Well, if you're having a really stressful day, the last thing you're going to want to do is go take that stress relieving walk. And it's not really going to relieve your stress. And so, anyway, that was just something that I had been thinking about as a way to help me to deal with the stress side of food and food addiction and that whole thing. And one of the ways that I'm trying to fill the hole or the void that's there, because I used to use food for comfort when I was stressed out, and that's been a really kind of a surprising thing. It kind of actually happened almost not by mistake, but kind of by happenstance. I was listening to Diamond Dallas Page in the stretch workout. He kind of just talks as he stretches, and one of the things that he talks about during one of the stretches in the stretch routine is he's like, this is one of those things that I like to do just while I'm watching TV. And a light bulb literally just went off in my head, and I was like, hey, I can do this stretch routine in the evening while my wife and I are watching TV. And it got to be a thing here over the last few weeks where it's been like, that's a signal. It's the end of my day. It's a way to kind of release any tension that's in my body, and also kind of release any emotional tension that I'm feeling. So yeah, anyway, that was what I wanted to share with you guys today. Talking a little bit about the demons and how they can creep in, and that negative critic, and then to think about how we can fill the hole in our life that is come because of the great change that we've made to live this keto lifestyle, and say goodbye to that binge eating and all that food as a way of coping with things. So yeah, that was what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you found that useful and helpful, and I hope that you guys enjoy the direction of my channel. I hope it's helpful for you. Maybe even if you're not doing keto as a carboholic, that it can somehow be helpful for you. But thank you as always for being a part of my journey. If you've enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up, let people know you like the video, subscribe to my channel so you'll be notified next time I share one of these videos with you. Day by day, keep calm and keto on, my friends. We'll talk to you again soon.